What up, what up, what up, New York Giant Nation and football fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. I'm here with my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's the real deal NFC East Round-Up. Punch that in. What is going on, everybody out there, man? Thanks for tuning in to the Week 8 edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. My guy Adam Costas, the super dope co-host. What's going on? I've been in the chat all road. Mets, no Nets, no Jets. Philly B, man. Appreciate y'all brothers stopping in, man. Philly B dropping the links. Definitely appreciate that's the homie for sure. What's going on, Adam? How you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm good. We're one step closer to more football because it's coming up on Thursday, and finding out what we're doing. I can't believe we're already at week eight. Excuse me. Season's already flying by, man. It is insane to think about, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Tyrod Taylor gonna get another game, I think. So we'll go get into it. And for those that don't know, we're all hanging out at the game this Sunday for tailgate. Myself, Mac, the Giant fan, will finally be in living color in 3D. I'll finally get to meet my guy, Mac, the Giant fan. Should be a lot of fun. Hope to see some of you out there. So.
Absolutely, man. It's gonna be good times. Good times for sure this weekend, man. Big Blue Crew gonna be up there doing the damn thing. At the Big Blue Crew tailgate, we're gonna be honoring the life of our fallen soldier and Jeffrey Turner, man, better known as NYG Jeffy T, man. So we just definitely gonna be good times out there this weekend, man. Good times, no matter what the result of the game gonna be. We'll find out about that too, but we're gonna have a good time regardless, man. No matter what, man. But let's get right to it, man. Let's get started with the New York Football Giants. As a matter of fact, man, today gonna kick off with the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders from Sunday, man. Interesting game. Two pretty bad football teams battling it out, and the score indicates what we were talking about there. 14-7 game here. Not much going on offensively for either team. Defense definitely stepped up for the New York Football Giants in this game once again, and defense is definitely the reason for this result, the 14-7 result, and the W. I mean, the offense scored just enough points, but the defense definitely held the Commanders off, and are the reason why the New York Giants won this football game. Got your thoughts, Adam?
Listen, these two teams are terrible. I'm sorry, they are terrible. That game was hard to watch offensively. The Giants at first did not want to do anything. The front four was kind of taken over. And then, as the war of attrition goes, one team slightly plays better than the other. And that's what the Giants did. They made a few more plays, scored in the first half, then kind of got stagnant in the second half because Washington made adjustments. They finally woke up. If the Washington Commanders, were any team worth of salt, they'd probably get a couple field goals in the beginning of the half and then probably win the game because they score those early field goals or tie the game up. So really good effort, I guess you could say. Good to get a win after 3 straight losses. I still think the Giants have a lot of work to do. I think they played a team that they always play well against, and it was always close, as this game was, as I indicated to people it would be. Sam Howell looked rattled from the gate, like rattled from Jump Street. Like, it looked like someone shitting his Cheerios or some shit. Like, what he was looking like, he was looking just so like somebody yelled at him before the game. So we'll see if he can get out of his own head. Washington did have some good offense in the second half of the game. Terry McLaurin woke up. And it just looked like that kind of game for Washington. If you go back and rewatch the film, there were some plays to be made for the Commanders. They dropped a lot of footballs. Logan Thomas dropped the football. Terry McLaurin drops the football. These are the kind of plays that get drives going that maybe they get into field goal range. So Giants got to shore it up. Obviously, they got to, not much really to talk about here. I mean, there's Tyrod Taylor's play. This is the difference between good quarterback play and a guy who struggled and had the offense struggle. I hear so much, oh, the offensive line was better for Tyrod Taylor. No, it wasn't. They have 5 guys on that line. 3 of them weren't even on the starting team. 3 of them weren't even on the starting team. Okay? Tyrod Taylor did what he had to do with less talent on the line, and you could see it. And his mindset, if you look at it, his interview was he's like, I just want to be aggressive. I just want to play football and playing loose. And you can tell the whole team has rallied around his, not saying they don't like Daniel. I mean, they probably don't. I wouldn't. He's kind of boring. But Tyrod Taylor has infused some juice into the life into this team. And if you don't see that is elevating everybody, just how they're playing, I don't know what the long-term answer is with Tyrod Taylor. Obviously probably not going to be here long-term past this year. Daniel Jones probably already said he hasn't been cleared to practice. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon, not for at least 4 or 5 weeks, right? So, it was good quarterback play. I should say it was good quarterback play. But what I'm saying is you get to see different things. Pre-snap reads, going downfield, adjusting, moving the ball. He was under siege. Tyrod Taylor was under siege. He was pressured 45% of his dropbacks. But he understands how to navigate. So he can navigate and step up. I remember one play, the pocket was closing in on him. Literally, I saw like 4 commanders around him, plus giant O lineman, and he stuck a ball in there to, I think it was Wando Robinson for the first down. I'm like, wow. I thought it was a sack, and probably with Daniel it's a sack. But, solid. I mean, he had good numbers, man. Threw 2 touchdowns. He has the same amount of touchdowns as our starting quarterback. That's funny. And here's another funny stat for you, and I'll get off this little rant. Who is the first quarterback to throw a touchdown pass to Darren Waller? Nope, not Jones. Tyrod Taylor. So that will be a fun fact if he ever becomes a legend. Who threw the first pass to Darren Waller? But enough for me, Mac. You can let your thoughts.
Well, I don't really want to talk much about the offense because the offense to me is still disgusting. It's disgusting and it's hard to watch, and they need to get better because the defense the last 2 weeks have played very good football, and the defense the last 2 games have played good enough that they should be 2-0 in these last 2 games, and the offense let them down in one. Overall, the offense did not do enough against Buffalo, clearly, and in this game, the offense did just enough. The offense has to step it up because the defense has definitely stepped it up. I get everything you're saying about the play of Tyrod Taylor, but it's still not really amounting to too much points. And at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. You got to score points to win these football games. The defense has elevated their level of play. The last 2 games, I mean, what they were able to do to Josh Allen, what they did to Sam Howell. Like you were saying, Sam Howell was rattled. He was rattled because that New York Giant defense was getting at it after his ass immediately from the door. I mean, and it's just the level of play. This defense has been showing last 2 weeks. Is showing me a defense that they got the potential to keep the Giants in games, but this offense has to step up, and this is the stretch of the schedule for the New York Giants where they're going to have to be able to put something together if they want to try to salvage any semblance of this season for whatever it could be worth. It's not logically, not really truly, doesn't seem very possible, but technically there are still a lot of football games to be played, and the New York Giants have they struggled through the tough part. This the toughest part of their schedule, which was the beginning right from the door, and right now they're hitting a part of their schedule where they got some winnable games here if this offense can actually step up and put some points on the damn board. I mean, they legit do. I mean, you got the Jets coming up. Yes, great defense, get it all, but they're offensively challenged, and this is a winnable football game. Following the Jets, here you got the Raiders. Very winnable football game. You saw what happened to the Raiders against the damn Bears on Sunday. Not a good football team. Uh, After the Raiders, you're talking about what the Cowboys, I believe, again. Okay, that's another big division game. It's a little definitely a little bit tougher there, but a lot tougher there. Obviously, they beat us down 40-0, but it's still a divisional matchup, and you just never know sometimes in these divisional games what can go on. You got the Commanders again. You got the Saints or whatever. I think the Patriots in the mix. These are, like I said, winnable football game. The Packers. These are all games that's possibly the New York Giants can win. This offense can step up and do something. Like I said, especially if the defense can continue and sustain their level of play they put out there the last couple of weeks. Kayvon Thibodeau, we was clamoring, we're banging on the door for it to heat up. He's heating up now. He is heating up and he is finding his groove, and he's starting to make some disruptive plays out there. We can talk about how he dropped the interception. Yes, sure, we would like to get that one back for sure. But he's out there, he's making plays, man, and he's getting after it, man. He's looking like the guy that we did draft him to be. He's slowly come. I mean, he's on pace to get the double digit sacks on the year, and he'll be the first person I saw. I think he'll be the first person in the Wink Martindale system to get double digit sacks, which sounds mind boggling to me. But it's just this, like I said, the offense. It's really what this offense wants to do, man, right now. Because the defense is showing you what they want to do. The defense wants to come out there and they're trying to ball. And I get it. You can say like we played just Washington Commanders on Sunday, but like I said, 2 weeks ago we played the Buffalo Bills offense, and we had them, and the defense had that offense on the ropes the entire game. Like I said, they held the Buffalo Bills offense to just 14 points, but the damn New York Giant offense could only muster 9. That's just not good enough. That's winning. You hold the Buffalo Bills to 14 points. That should be a game you win, straight up. That should be a game you win. The defense definitely has been doing their job, man. So it's going to be up to this offense. I'm going to say what's up to a couple people in the chat. Unpopular Opinion Sports. My guy, NYG, man. Go sub up to my guy, NYG, Unpopular Opinion Sport, over at Unpopular Opinion Sports, man. And my boy Steve, my homie Steven Neppa in the chat, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro. Most definitely, man. Thanks for the love, man. But yeah, it's just really up to this New York Giant offense. It's just been just a disgraceful display of football pretty much the entire season. This offense has not really been able. I mean, it looks a little better. It does look better. Like I said, it just looks more functional with Tyrod Taylor for sure. And I definitely not going to disagree with that statement. I mean, the deep shots alone, you take those deep shots and it opens up things downfield, opens up, I mean, potential penalties or just the plays getting made, period, in general. And then he just more, Tyrod Taylor is just a lot more comfortable out there. I feel like Daniel Jones is just way too skittish at this point. I mean, he's just a notorious thinker and dunker, man, and that's just unfortunate. Whatever we can say about Daniel Jones, it's not going to happen here in New York, in my opinion. It's just not going to happen. It's not meant to be. That's not the way his story was supposed to be meant to be written. Apparently, it's just not going to. He's not going to find that success that he's looking for in New York. He's going to have to go get a change of scenery, I think, if he wants to salvage any semblance of his career either as well. It's just not. It's not going to meant to be in New York with the New York Giants, man. Tyrod Taylor brings that veteran leadership in, and like you said, the pre-snap reads, all that manipulating the pocket, and just not and just like you said, not just hanging in there and taking those shots, even though the offensive line is still absolutely atrocious in front of them. I mean, have they been a little better? I think they have been. I think the offensive line overall has played a little bit better, but at the same time, maybe that has something to do with Tyrod Taylor just getting these guys more, a little more and better in position, like you said, with the pre-snap reads and whatnot. And it's the fact that, like you said, Tyrod Taylor, he's out there trying to make the plays, man. He's looking downfield and he's not just settling for those little dink and dunk, little 2 yard out routes. He's not settling for that. And I agree right here with this comment. I think Daniel Jones is absolutely shell shocked. Agree with you, no mess. No, think he's. I think that's why I think he's just ruined from that right there. He's shell shocked at this point. He can't seem to just get out of his own way anymore at this point, man. I think that's why I feel like you might as well just ride this season out with Tyrod Taylor the rest of the way. We've seen what we need to see from Daniel Jones. He is what he is, and it's just not going to be. He's not the answer here in New York. That's just at what point we gotta understand that as a fan base, the ones that just really still love this guy. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and say I hate the kid. I mean, he's still a New York Giant. He's still a New York Giant quarterback. He's still very much a part of this football team. But at the end of the day, he's clearly not. He's not the answer. Like we all been saying. He's not. He's not the only problem, but he's also not the fucking solution, man. He's just not it. He's not him. Okay, Daniel Jones is not him. Not for this city, man. Like I said, I wish the kid the best of luck. but it is definitely time for the New York Giants to find their guy. And that guy is also not Tyrod Taylor. I'm sorry. Tyrod is a career backup for the most part for a reason. I mean, he had those few good years in Buffalo, got into the playoffs, had ended their playoff drought. He's a good, solid veteran. He's always been a good, reliable backup, solid, reliable backup. But he's also clearly not just the full-on solution either. He's a guy that can maybe keep this thing together at least. I would say at least this season for right now, because he's right now things have looked up a little bit since he's been there. But the points, and like I said, still not like out there. We're not out there lighting up anything up with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. We got to keep that in the perspective. Yeah, everything looks a little more functional, but
Wait.
14 points.
Stop the presses. Stop the presses. What is this? What is this? What is this? This is what I mean. Welcome to the island. Unpopular. Welcome to the island.
No, I'm just saying, Tyrod, like things look a little more functional with Tyrod out there. But the 14 points this week, 9 points the week before, that's still not good offense overall. That's just not. He's taking up more chances and trying to make the best of his opportunities, but it's a testament to the talent on this roster as well. We don't have the weapons. We still got guys like Darius Slayton as like a number 1 and 2 receiver for the New York for us, when this guy wouldn't be no more than maybe 4 or 5 on most other teams' depth chart. That's not functional. That's not a way to have a functional offense. It's not. It's not going to work out that way. Jalen Hyatt has been a lot more involved these last 2 weeks, and that's what you need to see. We need to see a lot more of that going forward. But right now, this still offense has to prove that they can go out there and compete. Like I said, the defense has definitely been doing that, and hopefully the defense can keep that level of play up and keep the New York Giants in games right now. But
Are you
as
talking
far as
about?
Washington in this game,
Is he talking about Daniel Jones here?
I'm not sure. So the
No
coach
mix.
has to
Are
give
you
him
talking
a
about
couple more
Daniel Jones?
games. But I don't know. As far as Washington in this game, I mean, this has been an up and down team all season long, man. Roller coaster of a team. One week they look great, another week they look like shit, and it's not even it hasn't even really been any in between. It's either they look really good or they look really bad. This was obviously the week we caught them where they looked really bad for the most part. They did make it a little interesting in the second half of this football game, but they still weren't able to get enough. I mean, even the 7 points that they got was because of the muff punt that set them up right in the red zone already from the door. So who knows? The New York Giants could have possibly shut this team out on Sunday. So this Washington Commanders team, it's been an interesting season for them. They've had been a lot of highs, a lot of lows, man. Nothing in between. You don't really know the true identity of this Washington Commanders football team right now, because they just, one week they'll come out and look like crap. They'll come, and the next week they look really good. Like they play the Eagles coming up this Sunday, and who knows, the Eagles, and they usually match up well with the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll see what kind of team we get with the Washington Commanders. But it's hard to just really know what to expect or how to evaluate this football team, because they've been so up and down. It's been absolutely been been kind of just crazy with this football team, man. But how do you feel about what you've seen from Washington is for the most part this season, like for the ups and downs with this team?
Well, quickly to address no Mets, I think they are. Yeah, I understand they might force him to play more games, but his neck is a real thing. So you may want them to. He may force him to do it, and I think they may cover it up. But if he goes out there and breaks his neck because he's of his stupidity, then that's just gross negligence. I don't think they're going to do that. As for the Commanders, I don't know, man. Jonathan Allen seemed to have some harsh words about his team. I don't know if you saw his interview, but he was not happy. And the thing about it is that I commend the Commanders. We talk about scoring more points. Their defense is pretty good. I mean, they had a front four that was pretty good. And they showed out. Chase Young showed up. I mean, who thought he was going to show up, right? Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, those guys were in the backfield all day. So I thought defensively they played a good game. I think the problem with the Commanders right now is they're in an influx. They're not really good enough to be, an elite team, but they're kind of where the Giants are, and they can struggle easily. And you can tell why a quarterback is holding them back a little bit because he's holding the ball too long. Now I know why he's holding the ball too long. He doesn't want to make that egregious error. That's what you see with a young quarterback. Will excuse me, Sam Howell break out of that? That's something that we need to find out going forward. That's what Eric Bieniemy's got to find out if he's going to be able to kind of break those habits right. When Sam Howell does play well, they are a capable team, and he did get kind of hot towards the end of the game as he was figuring it out. And the Giants did a game plan, which I think they're going to do against this week. Is they blitzed the crap out of Sam Howell, so everything that he didn't know what was coming at him. Now that works now against these next young quarterbacks that they're probably going to play in the next 3 games between the Jets and the Raiders as well. I mean, the Cowboys are not the Cowboys. I don't expect anything exciting to happen against that team, especially for grinding out points now. But I just think the Commanders are on the right track if they can get certain things going. I don't know if Ron Rivera is going to be the coach here long. I think they're going to hire Eric Bieniemy, to be honest with you. I think they're going to hire Eric Bieniemy. Listen, I want to believe that they have a QB problem. And I told you, Adam, that Hal ain't the answer. Dude, the guy's played 7 games. I told you that DJ wasn't the answer from Jump Street. You guys waited 5 years. Don't give me this nonsense. Don't sit here and try to come at me and tell me he's not the answer after 7 games when you guys sit here and know DJ's not the answer and still try to shove it in my face that he's the answer. Give me a break.
Well, all right. But I mean, this Commander, like I said, it's been an up and down season for this Commander team. But like I said, this team came into this game against the New York Giants, averaging 22 points a game. I mean, that's not like necessarily great offense, but it's respectable. 22 points a game is still fairly respectable. And the New York Giants defense was able to shut them down and hold this offense to 7 points, which is, I mean, like I said, the defense has really been stepping up, putting that work in, and like I said, I just hope the New York Giant offense can finally start to slowly come around. This is going to be a tough week for it to happen against the New York Jet defense, but
No,
well, I
DJ,
mean,
man, give me a break. That's another fucking blasphemy. You just told me that. Give me that. I'm not a DJ fan. I'm a Giants fan, bro. Get out of here. Don't try to sweep your fucking DJ love under the rug now and tell you now you're a Giant fan, bro.
no, and I can vouch for him. I remember him and Pat used to go at it. Him and Big Pat used to go
But
at it about
are you kidding
damn.
me? I didn't hear those conversations.
And then
All I heard was how better
and then he
DJ was
warmed
than
up, and
Herbert.
then no, and then he warmed up a little bit to DJ. Maybe just because of the fact that he's the giant quarterback. Regardless, he warmed up to him a little bit. But I remember extensively, and I got your back on this. I do because I do remember I was on some of them streams. I remember
Well, good.
extensively him going back and forth with Big Pat about Daniel Jones, and he was definitely on your side of the fence at that time, bro.
Yeah. Find that.
He
Find
was
that. But
definitely
the
at
thing is, the vileness that I got about talking about this guy with me, he seemed like he was a lawyer for this guy, like he was an advocate for DJ. Because every week I didn't know him prior to that. I didn't hear all these takes. I've been on this island for 2.5 years. I got made fun of every left and right. I even remember getting into arguments with this guy about the damn Herbert. I want this guy. I will take DJ over Herbert. I'd be like, what are you talking about? And here we are sitting here having this conversation, and you're trying to tell me now that he's you're lucky you have a witness here, because if you didn't have a damn witness, I would have called BS, and I would have said, show me the tape, because I don't hear it. You're lucky Mac is here, because all I heard all year, especially from you, and this is why I'm saying it to you, because you came at me all day about DJ for a year, for a damn year.
No, he definitely. It took. He got swayed a little bit.
And now
I
the
mean,
candle's out.
just but but now that he's back to the reality. It sounds like, obviously, because I am too. It took me a little while to actually get all the way there, because I'm kind of like, no mess, no nets, no jets here, man. I'm DJ Homer to an extent, just because he plays for the Giants, because he wears the uniform, and I got to give my full
I'm not.
support no matter
I don't
what.
give a damn if he
At the end
plays
of
for
the
the
day,
Giants or scrubs toilets for the Giants. If
but yeah, for sure. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the upcoming matchup. New York Football Giants. It's
that's
a
fine.
scrub bowl a little bit. bit of a scrub bowl. We're the New York Jets, New York Giants, man, on Sunday. We will be in the building. Big Blue Crew, not necessarily. I'm not going in the game. I'm not spending my hard earned money on that.
Wait, you don't want to
But
boo Evan Neal?
but we will be out in that parking lot tailgating, doing it up, Big Blue Crew style, man, big time in it. Yeah, the New York Giants got some good news today, a little bit of good news today, at least if you Andrew Thomas, JMS back to practice. So hopefully things are trending that they will be both on the field on Sunday, man. What do you think that means could possibly mean for the New York Giants?
Listen, I say put them out there if they can play. You need all your reinforcements. I know some people are like trying to get guys to come back when it's the timing is right. Guess what? The timing ain't never going to be right, and you just put them in against these Jets because that's how you believe. Like that, you want to test out that line. You put them against the best. The Jets are one of the best at rushing the passer. I don't care who's playing quarterback back there. You need your best out there. And if they can play, which I don't think they will, I think they'll be limited. I think they'll be probably, unless they're 100 to 100%, I think they'll probably come back next week against Vegas. But if they're healthy, man, put them out there. I know the Jets are going to be ferocious. This is the one game that I'm worried about in terms of hitting because, a lot of the physical game that these two teams play, there's going to be, we already got a big injury list. Guys are going to be banged up after this one because whether you like the Jets or not, they're playing better ball. And whether you like Zach Wilson or not, he's playing better ball. Now, I'm not saying Zach Wilson is going to beat the Giants, but I know that Jet defense can score some points. And, they've made far better quarterbacks than both Tyrod Taylor and Daniel Jones look pedestrian. And the one game they did not look pedestrian was against the Cowboys, and that's the only game you may take out of this if you want some type of clarity on how to beat the Jets defense is that game. But other than that, they've been pretty tight, pretty close. Kansas City, they could easily have won that game. They probably should have won against New England. So there's two games there that they should have probably won. And then they beat the Eagles a couple weeks ago. So another thing going for the Giants is the Jets aren't great on their bye week. But as they showed last week, by beating the Eagles, who they've never beaten in their entire existence playing the Eagles, things do change. So we'll see, man. My one weakness is their one strength is going up against our weakness.
I mean, but their weakness is going up against our strength too right now because the defense is definitely the strength of the New York Football Giants right now, especially based off of these last couple of performances. These in the same way New York Giants had their struggles offensively blocking, so do the Jets, man. So they can get after after Zach Wilson and force him to make mistakes. Like I said, this game could literally be one of those ugly ass 9-3 kind of game or 9-6 kind of. It can literally be that kind of ugly with these two teams, man, because this is going to be a defensive struggle, I believe. Talking about two teams that are definitely a lot better on the defensive side of the football, and they're both very offensively challenged. So
I will say the run game for the Jets is slightly better, and the run defense is better. So that may be what breaks us in this game. If Zach Wilson doesn't throw any interceptions and he just kind of takes what the defense gives him, let's just say, and he doesn't have a great game. Let's say he's like, 18 of 25 for 170 yards and a touchdown or something like that. If he plays within the confines of the game, the Jets defense is that good that they'll find a way. The Giant defense, unfortunately for me, is not as good as that defense. While they are good and will take advantage of a young quarterback, that's what they're going to do. I think if Nathaniel Hackett is smart, unlike Eric Bieniemy, who wasn't smart and not helping out his young quarterback, he's going to turn around and give it to Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook and kind of make the game, kind of shorten the game up like that. See if they can grind out a win, play the field position game, and really, and then try to harass Tyrod Taylor on the other end. And this is the game that I feel like if Tyrod were to get a freaky injury, it'd be in this game because he'd go out and run. And those boys are missiles over there. C.J. Mosley, Keenan Williams, 56 on that team. He's pretty ferocious linebacker as well. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting. Finally get a good matchup.
I'll get to this question in 1 minute. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. But I just wanted to add one thing. If we're able to get Andrew Thomas and Mike JMS back, with the way the offensive line has looked a little better with Tyrod Taylor out there, that it could also have a bigger impact than right now than what people, because then we can slide Butterson back where he belongs at guard. You know what I mean? And Andrew
They're
Thomas out
still
there at left
terrible. They
tackle.
were terrible with those guys, so I don't think it's going to be much of an upgrade.
Well,
But
we only got one game with Andrew Thomas, so we don't. We only got one game with him. We only
we know
got
what
one with
he's
our
doing.
All Pro off.
We know what he's
Yeah,
doing.
but I'm just saying. And JMS, he's been pretty steady. He's had his ups and downs, but he was probably, I would say, probably was the second best offensive lineman behind Andrew Thomas on this football team through the first few games of the season. I mean, even though it wasn't great, it was still, he was probably out there looking a little better than the other guys while he was out there doing his, what we've seen, small sample size of him thus far. I just think people that's something to possibly look at as something that could be a bigger, something a big, bigger addition to this game, a big change to how the New York Giants could approach things. Just because based off of, like you said, everything with Tyrod Taylor, everything he's been doing, maybe that could help spark this offense by having the offensive line truly be a little bit better, getting a couple of your better guys back out there and being able to put together a slightly more competent group of guys. I mean, getting guys like McKeithen out there and get him on the bench where he belongs, people like that, and get the guys out, get your five best out there. But should we extend Leo? No mess, no nets, no jets. I wouldn't right now. I just can't make Leo a priority. I mean, I really don't have a big problem with Leonard Williams at all. I think he is a solid player still, but at the end of the day, can't really be. I just can't. This team has so many issues and so many problems and so many big needs. I just can't really see this team investing really anything more in Leonard Williams, man. So I mean, good luck to him and everything, but I just can't. I personally don't think that's a move the Giants need to be looking to make right now. Especially can't make it a priority. They got way bigger things to deal with. I don't know how you feel about that, Adam.
I'm not extending Leo Williams. Sorry, he's on the trade block in my eyes. He's not a homegrown giant. He's not going to take a discount because you want him to. Okay, just got to move on. It's just time. Sometimes it's time to move on from guys. And Leo Williams, I mean, he's a good player, love him, but he's going to command too much money. The real question is should they extend McKinney? Now that's one that's going to be talked about because he may want more money, and I think the Giants are going to let a lot of players walk next year. I don't think Barkley's going to be here next year. I really don't. I know he's pleading with the team and everything like that. Well, your actions speak louder than your words, man. When you don't put a C on your chest and then you realize that you want to be here, like, give me a break, bro. Like, come on. I
I
know.
think honestly, I don't. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't want to read too much because I don't like to, try to get in other guys' mind, head thoughts, headspace. You know what I mean? But I think that whole seat, the captain thing with him, the seat on it, I think that had more to do with him feeling a personal thing with him feeling like he's not worthy of that right now because he's kind of not wasn't there for his team. He seems. I think that's more of a personal internal thing he's dealing with. I don't think it's really kind of the magnitude of like he's kind of I don't know how to say it, but
It's
I just
it's
think
it,
it's more of an internal thing with him. It's more like I feel like I'm not worthy of this because I'm not here for these guys when they need me the most. You know what I mean?
well, he is here
And
though.
I
That's the point. Is you're still here. You signed your contract. You knew you were coming in. You put the C on your chest. And you make an example of it, and you say, "I'm going to let my play dictate my vocabulary on the field." That's what you do because when guys look to you, they're gonna look to you. But you're supposed to be a leader. You would have gotten the gold C on your chest because you were a captain 3 years in a row. You decided not to. That's more of a spiteful move than saying, "Oh, against my team." You're here now. Put the fucking C on. You should have put the fucking C on with nothing as long as you signed on that dotted line because that was your job when you got here. So to me, your actions speak louder. Now the team is having some turmoil and they know they can get some good value for him and he doesn't want to be traded right now. I get it. But next year, if the Giants don't want to pay him money, I don't, and they want to give him a long-term deal. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to give him a long-term deal. These are the guys that sometimes you just got to keep moving on from and keep rolling out because if you don't make the playoffs this season, you're one of the 16 teams that didn't make the playoffs. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your record is at that point. You're still a loser, right? So move on from guys. Let them go. McKinney is tough because he's actually young. He is actually a homegrown giant. He's you know. I think he's going to want to get paid. So that's the only reason why I don't think he's going to be here. And for the Leo thing, you have a couple guys in the pipeline. You have the kid you drafted from Oregon. You got DJ Davidson. Granted, they are no Leo Williams, but You drafted them for a reason, so why not allow them to get some burn and learn the ropes and get some playing time, right? Leo Williams has done a lot here. He's young. If he comes there and says I'll play for 3 years, 15 million, okay, fine, I'll sign him. I don't think he's going to do that. I think Leo Williams thinks he's still one of the best D tackles in the game, and he's going to want to get paid for it.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just think this New York Giants team has so many issues. You can't make Leonard Williams a priority. I just don't think they can make Leonard Williams a priority. And when you have so many other areas that you have to address and so many other things that you need that this team needs, sometimes there's certain sometimes players you just got to move on from. And like you said, Leonard Williams is probably going to command way more money than the Giants can really afford to invest right now into a position like that when they already gave Dexter Lawrence the huge contract this off season.
You got to cut
So I
corners
mean,
somewhere.
it's
You got
just what it is, man. It's a business. You gotta take care of the business aspect of things, man. And the New York Giants and Leonard Williams is probably going to be on the other side of that, man. It is what it is. What's going on, AK man? Thanks for stopping in. Bookend tackles, man. Thanks for stopping in, bro. Appreciate y'all, man. Wales, thank you too, man. Appreciate you for tuning in. But how do you see this? I mean, I guess we talked about how to see the game. I think this is going to be a pretty ugly game. I just don't. How do you think the Giants? How you think comes out on this one?
I'm just going to go with whose defense is better right now, and I'm going to go with the Jets. They've turned over better quarterbacks and better talent, um, and that means something. I mean, Josh Allen was good, but we couldn't quite get over the hump. Um, but I just think their defense is very good. They've made Mahomes look bad. They've made Allen look bad. They've made a lot of guys look bad. So unfortunately for me, I don't know if they're going to win this game. I'm leaning towards the Jet just because their defense is better, but we'll see. I mean, if they put in Daniel Jones, Giants are definitely losing. They put in Tyrod Taylor, there's a 50-50 shot.
I don't know, man. It's hard for me on this one. Been really going against my guys for the last couple of weeks, but the defense is giving me a little bit of optimism to make me think in a game like this, man, that they might be able to find a way to pull it out in an ugly, tough, hard fought football game. I think the Giants could win another little ugly game like they played against Washington. Here, I think this is going to be like a very low scoring affair, and I just take the
Comes
under.
down to
By the way,
turnovers.
anybody betting on this game, take the under for sure. Whatever it is, even if the under is like only like 17, take the under still. Take it. I'm telling you, take the fucking under because this game is not going to be. It's not going to be a marathon of points getting scored here,
Well,
man.
you
For
like
sure.
defense, this will be the game for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. AK says we fare a better chance for Taylor than DJ. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, everybody. Like I said, I don't want to just shit on a good job on the job Tyrod Taylor done like Hobies, but like I said, it's resulted to 23 points.
And
20. That's it. And that's 2 games. I mean, yeah, we got the victory, but I'm just saying that's a reality we got to look at. It's only been 23 points. I mean, that's just real. That's not.
right, but
I can agree that he's come in and it's a spark and it's and like I said, looks more functional. But 23 points in two over the course of 2 games, and you're 1-1 in those 2 games, and the defense played out of their mind in both of those games. That's that's still like this team is very much
well, that's just the
offensively
ineptitude of his
challenged
offense.
still.
I mean, they're offensively
But that's what
challenged,
I
but you
mean.
can't say that the ship wasn't steered a little better with him in the game.
I said that. I said it looks like a lot more functional. It does. I agree with that. It looks more functional, but at the end of the day, points got to get on. Got to get scored. That's what it comes
Well,
down to.
we can
You're
get
not
we
winning
can get on
football
the
games
play
if
calling
points
because
ain't
the
getting
play calling
scored.
has been terrible. That's what the problem is as well. Play calling hasn't also helped either. But enough of this. We'll find out. I think the Giants and I think they're all. I think it's gonna be a fun game. Should be a lot of jawing going on between the two sidelines. Before we move on to the quickly, do you think they should play this game every year like the Yankees Mets?
I almost wish they would. I really do. I think they need to make this more of the rivalry that it should be. You know what I mean? But I guess because you used to get that third preseason game where pretty much was the dress rehearsal game where they was almost like a real football game anyway. So you did used to get that every year. So now by not having that, it takes a lot away from this rivalry. So But I wish they would just play it every year, especially with this 17th game. You should just make the New York Giants 17 game every year against the Jets.
Right, exactly.
Like
That's
that
why I
should
said
just be
keep those
what
17
it
games.
is.
Why not? Why not?
Just make
17th
that
game. Why not?
make pretty much do that pretty much league wide. Just make all the like the Chargers and the Rams and they should let them just play every year like that 17 game instead of all this other play some other random team that came in the same place as you whatever. Just
Just like the
try to
Raiders
make
should play
like
the
cool
49ers every
rivalries.
year.
Yeah, every year, every damn year should just be like that. But
And they should have like
yeah,
those little trophies that they win. Like every year it switches buildings. So even
something cool like that,
if you're
man.
even having
That
a
would
down
definitely be
year, at
dope.
least you beat the Jets, or at least you beat the Giants, or at least you beat LA to get that little trophy, and you could brag to those fans about it. I think it'll be fun. I mean, that's why they did interleague play. And then when they realized you could have the rivalries of the Yankees and Mets, and they do it every year, I don't see why not doing and putting a little bit more juice behind the game in there. I don't the preseason game, yeah, that becomes tradition, but now that you have a 17th game, the schedule makers should do like you're gonna need extra games to play anyways because you have an even number of teams, right? Playing. So you're playing 4 teams plus your division teams plus another 4 teams from another west. So at least 11 games are played via your the AFC team you're playing, the NFC division you're playing, plus your division team games, right? So right there, you got 8 and 11. You got 11 games right there, and then you have another 6 games where you're playing, the third place team and the third place team. Why can't you just throw the Jets in there every year? I don't understand why it would not be something you could do. Make it a real thing, NFL. Make it a real thing, NFL. Make it a real thing. You're boring sometimes. The college gets rivalries. Even at the end of the college season, when the teams are shitty, they still have a rivalry game. Anyways, we should be moving on. We spent a little.
Appreciate Chris Bucco stopping in the chat, man. Thank you, brother, for coming through, man. Definitely appreciate you. Yeah, let's definitely move on, man. We have been on these guys far long enough for right now. Let's move on to Sunday night football, man. Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders. Eagles making a statement, going out. I mean, damn, shit. Wrong game. Sorry. Apologize, y'all. Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins. Jumped the gun a little bit there. Sunday night football. Eagles, somebody making a statement out there against the high-power Miami Dolphin offense, man. Eagles pretty much kind of held them down. Put together a pretty solid performance. Got the W 31-17. Your thoughts, Adam?
The Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in football. They let the Miami Dolphins, who don't play well against decent defenses, it looks like. I mean, they kind of struggled against us, but we were far less talented than both Philadelphia and both the Buffalo Bills defense. And they kind of when they play tough defenses, they kind of get railroaded. And their defense, well, it has playmakers. They didn't have enough playmakers on Monday night to beat this Eagle team, who, by the way, Jalen Hurts looks like he's coming into form. He had one of his better games of the season. A.J. Brown is another 125-yard performance. Absolutely couldn't be stopped. And they say, the rich get richer. They had Julio Jones had a couple catches. The Dallas Goedert woke up in this game. And they get Bird, right, this year. So I think it's really I really think it's interesting to look at how they dominated this Miami Dolphins team. They put pressure on Tua, made him look mortal, and I think I think that's what we want.
Well, I mean, they made a mistake clearly. Willie Vassar, thank you for stopping in. I appreciate you, bro. Well, I mean, clearly there was a mistake made paying Jones. Period. That's hindsight's 2020 now, man. Getting very equal, very much equal production, if not better production out of Tyrod Taylor, who gets paid significantly less. So, it is what it is. We Giants definitely screwed up with that contract. But at the end of the day, they put themselves in position to get out of it without it really killing them too bad either. So we'll see how
Yeah, well,
goes on in the future.
I mean, I'm not talking. We're not going to harp on that guy anymore. But the Eagles look, like I said, the best team in football. The 49ers have a chink in the armor, And I think the Eagles. I'm not saying they're not going to lose another game. I think they're got some tough games coming up. Starting this week, I mean, Commanders kind of play them pretty well. So, but Miami, it seems like it's like I think this team could. I said this could be a preview of the Super Bowl. Miami don't look Super Bowl ready anymore. They look like they got a great offense, but if they can't get out in front of you, and you have a decent defense and a good offense, and they can't get out in front of you, it's tough for them. That's not going to help you in the playoffs when you play these better teams like in the AFC North and the Bengals and this team that can actually score. The Eagles, though, they got guys coming on their own. They got the young guy. The young guys came through. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Kobe Dean had a decent game. You know what I'm saying? The Smith kid. Did I mention Nolan Smith? Nolan Smith. Like
he got his first sack, I believe.
This is what I'm saying, and they're only going to get better from here on out. Whatever they're doing down in Philadelphia, they stay pretty much healthy. They stay ready. Everyone's ready. And like I said, they get Bird on their team. The rich get richer. That's what just happened.
I mean, they put together a great roster. They got great depth, and that's a testament to Howie Roseman and how he put together this football team. But at the end of the day, I'm going to still address an elephant in the room with this football. They're coming up on a very tough part of their schedule right now. And yeah, they got over this hump with Miami on Sunday night. Looked great, but Jalen Hurts is going to have to clean up his mistakes. I know you said he played well, and he did overall play well, but he's got to clean the mistakes up, man. He can't keep happy. He can't keep going out there and turning the ball over game in and game out. He had a couple more in this game once again as well. It didn't cost his team this week. It didn't hurt his team this week.
How many turnovers did he have this week?
But he had 2 this week. He had a fumble and an interception again. The turnovers have been a bit of a problem for Jalen Hurts this season. I mean, yeah, sure, they're still getting wins. That's a testament to how good the team is. Like I said, the depth and everything else, the whole entire makeup of the whole roster. But with the part of the schedule they're coming up with now, they're going against teams he's not going to be able to go out there and be turning the ball over and be careless with the football. So they're going to have to clean that up going forward. I mean, like you said, they got this Washington Commander team coming in on Sunday. What'll be going down to them Sunday, and for whatever reason or another, Washington always seems to play this Philadelphia Eagle team tough. It just does. I mean, you saw a few weeks ago Washington could have won that game a few weeks back. So in the first matchup up in Philly, so this is definitely nothing to sneeze at this week either as a Philadelphia fan. But like I said, I can't knock this team. They're a good football team, and right now, currently, their record and it says that they are the best team in the league, and you can't really make a real argument against that. They just got the little things that they need to clean up to go forward in the season. Like I said, especially with the games they got coming up, man. They got some tough matchups coming up. We're talking about the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, the Bills, the 49ers, the Cowboys again, the Seahawks is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, they got some games coming up, man. And so we're going to really see what this Eagle team is really truly all about, because they still haven't really put out a 100% great, solid performance yet this season. We're still waiting to see that.
They dominated the best offensive football and reduced them to 17 points. This team was putting up point after point. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. In that defense,
I'm not taking the credit. Like I said, they're winning the games. I'm not taking the credit for them. I'm just saying the things. I'm saying things that are reality. This is a reality. I'm not saying they're going to fall apart. I'm saying this is a tough part of their schedule. They still have some things that need to be cleaned up. Jalen Hurts' turnovers this season they need to be cleaned up against some of the teams they're going to be going against coming up. It's just a reality. I'm not. Like I said, I agree. The Eagles are right now. You can't argue that they're not the best team of football based upon their record. It just is what it is, and the fact that, like you said, you can go so deep into their roster where guys go down and they got guys that can step in and fill in and not miss a beat. That's, like I said, testament to what their GM, how he put that team together. It's sensational. It's amazing what they've done and what they've been able to accomplish, but we got to speak still some realities. They're going to be going against some tough, stiff competition in the upcoming weeks, and there are some things that need to be cleaned up and be a little more consistent. Now, A.J. Brown has been absolutely consistent this season, putting up MVP-like numbers. Unfortunately, since he's not a quarterback, he'll probably get gypped for that award as well. But I mean, it's they got a lot of good things, great things going, but they just and I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is having a bad season by no means. He's definitely not having like a bad year. I'm just saying it's just certain things when you get down to the December, January, and those months, man, you can't be out there turning the ball over in like big time playoff games. I mean, obviously the Eagles are going to be in the playoffs, so you just can't. It's just certain things that needs to be tightened up still with this football team. That's all I'm saying. They still are definitely the best in this division by far. That's not even up for debate right now, as far as I'm concerned at all. I don't want to hear another team is better than the Eagles in the NFC East right now. Not the Cowboys, definitely not the Washington Commanders, and definitely not the New York Giants. So the Eagles, this is definitely the Eagles division as far as I'm concerned for the taking, and I don't see what's really going to stop them. But only thing that can stop them is themselves, and they keep kind of pounding on some of these mistakes in certain games, man. That could potentially happen. Is all I'm saying. It could potentially happen.
Well, I mean, if you want to say that the Commanders game next week is a trap game for them, then yes, maybe that's where they can get their next loss because the Cowboys are on the horizon. So the Cowboys are the one game, and then the 49ers, they play the 49ers and Buffalo and the Chiefs in there. I'm sure they'll hold their own with those teams. I can't go down the list and say those teams are on their level. So those are 50-50 games for them. There would be more one-sided games for us, but we'll see what happens, man. That's how the cookie crumbles. I think this team is going to, start to figure it out and figure out where their weaknesses are. They have to win. I believe they have to win this game on Sunday because I think the Cowboy game is going to be enormous for the division race. That is, I know the Cowboys are. We're going to be previewing them in a few minutes as well. They need that game as well to keep pace. So you're going to start to see the race really heat up. It should be fun, and I'm looking forward to finding out where everybody falls.
That's a Willie Vassar's talking about Miami's schedule. Yeah, I mean, look, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule to play, man. I don't really knock. Nah, I can't. I don't go too hard against this at all. Miami is playing the teams that are on their schedule, and it is what it is. They haven't been that great. The combined opponents wins are only like five or something like that. The teams they played against, I don't. It's something crazy like that. But teams that they've beaten, I mean, but at this end of the day, you can only play the teams that are on your schedule, man. So it just works out that way for them. I mean, they still put up 70 points on Denver Broncos. It doesn't matter who the hell you're playing against. 70 points is 70 points. It doesn't matter who at that point when you're throwing 70 points to down 70 points up on the team. So I don't care how bad that team is. Ain't nobody else scored 70 points on Denver. Only the Miami Dolphins did that. So and nobody else scored 70 points all season against anybody else. Period. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and knock them for that too much. But let's get into this Washington and Eagles matchup Sunday, man. What do you expect in this matchup here?
Well, I expect a tougher matchup from the Commanders. I think getting beaten by the Giants might wake them up a little bit. 1-5 football team, kind of stuck in their own way a bit, and you go in there and lay an egg. And they have some success against the Eagles. I think this is, I don't know if they're going to win this game, but I think this is a game where they kind of have to, their season's on the line. And if you want to steal one here, steal one here. Going 0-3 in the division is basically good night the lights. I mean, even the Giants have a win in the division. Kind of crazy to think. Um, the Giants get their one annual win in the division, but this Commander team looks like it needs to shore things up. It's not going to right now because I would wonder what they would do if they decide to bring in Jacoby Brissett. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying Sam Howell is not their guy or answer, but maybe he needs a break. Just bench him, say, listen, we like you, we want to go with you, but you're costing us a playoff shot right now, and we want to see what the veteran can give us. No harm, no foul to you, right? That's what I would try. I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting a player in that might be better to see and making a competition. I think when you don't make a competition, like for example, if the Giants said to me, "We're going to keep Tyrod Taylor going," I wouldn't care if it means we have a better chance at winning because that's what you determined. If you determine that you have a better chance of winning, but you still stick with a guy just because he's paid or just because you're stubborn, then that's an indictment on you. You got to put the best players out there. So I'm wondering what this team would do Would Jacoby Brissett, would he be holding the ball on too long? Would he not be holding the ball too long? Would he be able to get rid of it differently? I know Sam Howell's got to speed up that clock, and they did some things in this game to help him out. They max protected a little bit. They rolled him out a bit. So we'll see if Eric Bieniemy can do that. Plus, I think they need to lean more on the run game. I think that's how you're going to beat the Eagles, is to try to keep the chains in front of you. Don't go what you did against the Giants and be third and 15, third and 23. Those things, when you're that down distance, you're not going to have any success. Try to, even if you're getting 2 yards on a run, you never know when that 2 yard might break, and you might get a 5 yard run or anything like that. So third and 6, right? Let's say you run it twice, you get 2 yards a piece. Now you're at third and 6. Okay, that's more in your playbook that you can do to get the 6 yards, as opposed to third and 7, third and 8 and plus, where you're not going to have that. On the other hand, you can't let the Eagles run the football. I think the thing with the Eagles they need to do is give the ball to DeAndre Swift a little bit more, take the ball out of Hurts' hands, and give it to DeAndre Swift and let him kind of win this game for you. Okay, let him be the X factor in this game. The Eagles, sometimes it baffles me when I see they give the ball to Swift, then they bring in Gainwell, and it's like, well, why are you taking this guy out to put in Gainwell? If you want to do that, I believe alternating drives, right? So if the drive goes 5 plays, well, DeAndre Swift gets 5 plays. If Gainwell goes in and you go on a 10-play drive, well, then Gainwell gets those 10 plays, right? I just think when you bring guys in, unless he gets nicked up or something like that, right? Unless you bring a guy in
I was gonna say, speaking of that, that could be the methodology behind it a little bit. Well, Swift has a bit of an injury history from Detroit, which is probably why Detroit was so willing to give him away for what they
right, but I'm not
did.
saying. But that's why I say alternate drives. If the drive is going good and you're moving the football, and he gives you a chance, don't just say, "Oh, it's 3rd and 1. We're going to bring him in here." He can do everything. So just let him have the drive. I think that's what's stalling them a little bit in their run game, is that they, DeAndre Swift will get into a rhythm, and then they'll pull him out and put in Gainwell, and then the rhythm is now off because now he gets to come back in the game. I'm just saying, if you're going to do it, my strategy would be let DeAndre Swift have a series, let Gainwell have a series, and just go from there. And then if a guy gets hot, right, if DeAndre Swift, you're like, man, he was hot that drive, ride him out. I think he's too good of a player, Swift, to not be on the field like a Saquon Barkley. You can do so much with him, and I think he's an X factor that will help this offense out if they give it to him. Last year, they had they had Miles Sanders, who was a good back, but he's not the caliber of player that DeAndre Swift is. DeAndre Swift is a better back than Miles Sanders in my eyes. And to me, I need that guy on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Swift had a couple big, huge games earlier on in the season, and it's I wouldn't say it's cooled down. He's still been very productive, but it's just been a different type of production. And you're right. I think they need to ride them legs a little bit more, man. That's what you got them there for. I mean, at the end of the day, you
Right,
can't play scared. If anything, if the mentality is they're trying to preserve them from injury or anything like that, look, you can't. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. At the end of
right,
the day, this guy has
right.
been very productive, and you need to go out there and continue to ride that pony, man, a little bit. I mean, like you said, this team is so. I think the team sometimes you can be so good of a team that you try to get a little too cute sometimes, and you don't have to be, man. Eagles,
Exactly.
you're good, one of the best O lines in football, maybe the best O line in football. Go out there, let them guys work, man. Put on the work, and let you good. Like you got a very good running back there in DeAndre Swift, and go for it, man. I think that is definitely the move, especially in this game against the Washington Commanders. Slow that pass rush down a little bit, help keep it at bay. You already know what you got out there at the wideouts anyway. You got a couple dogs out there in Devontae Smith, AJ Brown. So I mean, just let DeAndre Swift soften that defense up, and just
Tommy,
hit him with, and then hit him with the big guns, man. AJ Brown's been killing it all season, and I don't see
I did
why
say they were the
this week
best team
has
in
to be any
football.
different.
I did say they were the best team in football, Tom. And I'll say it again now that you hear they're the best team in football. They are good. And I'm telling you, I was talking about DeAndre Swift and how you should give him more carries because I think that guy is electric on the field. And I just think, I'm not saying Gainwell's not bad. He serves a purpose. He's a downhill runner. But I just think your offense is more versatile with DeAndre Swift in the game. I just think he's that dynamic that you can open up the plays. And so, why not keep when they take him off the field? Sometimes it's mind boggling to me just to put in Gainwell or Bart Scott. I
I
get you
mean,
have those guys, but
Swift is a legit three down back. He's legit. He's a legit three
right,
down back, and there's no reason for all the interchange. It was one thing when you were last year, like you said, with the Miles Sanders, Gainwell, Boston
right.
Scott, when you got guys like that. And it's not to say that because Miles Sanders is a good running back, but like you said, DeAndre Swift is a legit three down back, and he can go out there and get the job done. And you gotta let him do it, man. That's what you got him there for. You gotta let him do it and handle his business. I think you need to stop with trying, like I said, stop trying to be cute and just do what you gotta do. Like I said, there's no reason to have the best offensive line in football if you're not going to put them guys to work. Offensive linemen love run blocking. Trust me, I know. I was one. Love run blocking. Love putting your hands in the dirt and moving guys out the way. That's what us big guys like to do.
Take a
So
man's
let
will.
them let them do it. Let them do it. You know what I mean? Just let them do it.
Well,
But
yeah, and you're probably juiced up when a guy gets a run off your block, right? Because and you know who the better back is, right? Like DeAndre Swift doesn't need as big a hole as Kenneth Gainwell. If you will go watch the games, Gainwell is better when you do a toss sweep and get a guy in front of him, and DeAndre Swift is better at going to the line and kind of sifting through the wreckage, so to speak, and finding his hole that way. So to me, like I said, we've talked enough about DeAndre Swift, but I'm just saying if I were the Eagles, I'd put him on the field a little bit more. Like you said, Mac, you can't just bubble wrap the guy. You're playing a violent sport. An injury is going to happen
yeah,
regardless. So use them because you never know. You use it or lose it, as they say. Because if you don't and you don't use him, what is he there for? What did you trade all that capital for to get him? If you're going to try to sit there and say, "Hey, Gainwell's the better back," he's not. Now he has a purpose. He does serve a purpose. If I were them, I'd let DeAndre Swift run for 3 quarters, and then I give Gainwell and Penny in the fourth quarter to pound the defense after the defense has been tired chasing that guy around. So that's what I would do. But hey, what do I know?
one more quick question. Do you think AJ Brown's production is sustainable? It's been pretty fun to watch, honestly. I mean, hate the fact that he plays for the Eagles, but it's been pretty fun to watch.
Well, I do believe it's going to be sustainable. I just think he's having that kind of a year. There's a lot of things in play here. They're going to force feed him the rock as well. I think he just tied Calvin Johnson for like the most games in a season with 125 yards plus. So, and what the thing we should be talking about is I know we talk about Tyreek Hill flirting with 2,000. AJ Brown could be flirting with 2,000, or at least I would say about 1,800 yards at least. I'm going to say that he's going to get. That's what he's on pace for. He is just having that good of a season, and I think it's going to get kind of. He might have a little bit of a bog down here because I know that they play the Cowboys and they play, a few of these other teams like the Bengals and the 49ers, but they still play the Giants, they still play the Eagles, they still play the Giants twice, still play the Seahawks, and they play the Cardinals. I think there's and the Commanders. I think there's going to be some room in there for him to have some monster games and kind of get ahead of it, so that by the time the season's over, you're going to look up and be like, "Damn, AJ Brown's got what? 10 plus touchdowns and 1,800 yards. Why are we talking about this guy for Offensive Player of the Year?" So, you know, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a record breaking performance from him.
Do you see a scenario in which the Washington Commanders win this game on Sunday?
Absolutely not. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I just feel like the game they needed to win was the Giant game. So then to put all your eggs in your basket against the Eagles, to me, it's just they play them well. Styles make fights, right? It looks like Commanders don't play well against the Giants, but they play well against the Eagles, and get railroaded by the Cowboys. The Cowboys play well against the Giants and well against the Commanders, and sometimes the Eagles give them a run for their money. And so this game, I think the Commanders are all but dead. I think they're going to win a couple more games. They're going to be like the Giants. They're going to win like 6 or 7 games, something like that. They're going to luck into a few wins here and there. Their defense is going to get them a couple wins here and there against some lesser teams. But unless their defense steps the fuck up, they're going to be sitting there soon. They might be tied with the Giants for third place at the end of the weekend. Who knows? But we'll see. I mean, I don't think I think it's going to be a long season for both the Giants and the Commanders. I think right now the playoff standings are the Eagles and the Cowboys, and then I think the Buccaneers, and then it's the Falcons and a few other teams, and then there's like the Commanders, the Saints, the Vikings, and a few other teams that are kind of in the playoff spot. So you got 7 teams vying for one spot, man. You got to keep up. This is a game where if the Commanders want to get back to their season, steal this one. Steal this one. You damn near stole the other one.
All right, we'll see, man. We'll see. But I like the Eagles on Sunday in this one, man. I just think they're just too damn good, and I think the Commanders have a few too many deficiencies right now. Even though they do play them well, I think they'll still come up short in this one. But let's move on, man. Coming off the bye, the Dallas Cowboys, man, hosting the Los Angeles Rams. The Los Angeles Rams team coming off of a loss this past Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A bit of a heartbreaker, man. Now they get to travel to Dallas and take on the Cowboys fresh off the bye, man. What do you expect to see from the Cowboys coming off their bye week, Adam?
I expect a pretty solid performance. It may not. I don't know what their record is after the bye week, but I think that game they played prior with the LA Chargers really kind of I think might have ignited them in terms of playing well offensively and moving the ball up and down the field. The Rams, though, the Rams are no joke. They don't lie down for nobody. They come out and play. So I think it's going to be a tough game. And if the Cowboys turn the ball over, right, that they have a propensity to do and have penalties, and let this team hang around, you might see Matthew Stafford steal one here. I wouldn't be surprised if they stole one from the Cowboys. I'm expecting the Cowboys to win, but again, if the Cowboys ended up losing, it wouldn't shock me because the Rams are they're a good football team that's unfortunate, right? They've played some tougher opponents they couldn't quite beat, and I think they're gonna be like the Giants in the playoff mix. I think they're gonna win 8 or 9 games, and I think that Rams game against the Giants will come down to uh, may come down to playoff seeding, maybe or whatever team might win that game might be in the playoffs or be closer to it. So I think the Rams are going to give the Cowboys all they can handle, but I think the Cowboys, if the Cowboys, because the Cowboys could be overlooking this game, they could be like, "Fuck this team, we're going to railroad this team and go right to the Eagles the following week." And if they do that and they let their guard down, the Rams can punch them in the face.
If they do that, that would be a terrible mistake
But the
because
Cowboys do that type of stuff, though. They lose.
this Rams offense can score points, man. I mean, they got a two-headed monster at receiver now too. Rookie superstar rookie Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup back. Cooper Cup has come back and not missed a beat, man. You wouldn't even know that guy missed time this season. The way he just stepped right back in and was looked like the same old Cooper Cup we all know. So this Cowboys defense will have their hands full on the back end. And this is definitely a game that they may possibly they will be missing the services of Trayvon Diggs big time in this game with these receivers they'll be going up against. This Rams offense can definitely put points on, like I said, put the points up on the board. But this Cowboy defense can get after it as well, and that's going to be the issue. Will Matthew Stafford have time to find his weapons is going to be the key in this game. And I think the Dallas Cowboys defense rested up, getting that rest that they needed at home. I don't think they overlook the Rams at all. I think they take this as a look this at this game as a game to get prepared for the Eagles because they're going to face another the Eagles offense as well, with especially like with the receivers the Eagles bring to the table as well. I'm not saying the Rams are similar to the Eagles in that necessarily, but from that standpoint, they have those kind of weapons, those electrifying, dynamic weapons on the outside. That the Cow, this is a game that helped them prepare themselves for the Eagles, and I think they take this Rams game team like understand that what they got to do out there and go out there and handle some business, man. Coming off the bye, I think if Mike McCarthy doesn't have this team ready for this game, it's shame on him as the coach of this Dallas Cowboy football team because you just got to look at what's in front of you right now. I mean, if you got any chance of wanting to keep up with the Eagles, you can't drop right now. You can't afford to drop this game to the Los Angeles Rams, especially coming off your bye week, and especially knowing that you have the big showdown against the Eagles the following week. If you got to be able to come out there and close the deal and handle some business, and I think this Dallas Cowboy team will be ready. I hate to I wish the worst for them most of the times too, but something's telling me this team is going to be ready. It's going to be fired up, and we're going to see a big night from Michael Parsons and that Cowboy defense.
Well, they better show up because if you lose this game and then you possibly lose to the Eagles, you're going to be 4-4 after your 8 games. So I don't think they want to do that. So they have to handle business here. So
Said Mac Bland can handle it. What's he mean Bland? What you mean Bland can handle it? I know that's a person. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I mean, this is big time right now for the Cowboys. The Eagles have definitely putting the pressure on a little bit on this Cowboy team, and the Cowboys have to respond. I mean, we think they're as good as the Eagles. Think they can compete with the Eagles, and for this division, these are the kind of
well, you got
games
to
they
think
got to be able to win.
the Eagles have the 49ers on the horizon. So um, if you win this game and let's say somehow you win against the Eagles and tie the record, now all you got to do is wait and see if the 49ers can beat them. And then maybe you end up being the top seed because, the 49ers get another loss on there. So,
What's up? Shout out to my guy Speed Dollars, man. Big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, man. This squad got the big win against the Rams on Sunday, man. Much love. Thanks for stopping in, bro. Sorry, I don't continue your thought.
oh no, I'm just saying, these next 2 games for the Cowboys are very, very crucial because they need to keep pace now. They won the game. You're still within striking distance of the Eagles in terms of the division. If you beat the Rams and you end up being 5-2 headed into a 6-1 football team or whatever, I don't know what the record is, 7-1 football team. What is the Eagles?
6-1. The Eagles 6-1.
Yeah, so they'll be 7-1. You'll be 5-2, and if you beat them and go 6-2, and they go 7-2, and they'll be on their bye week, then they play the 49ers at some point. You've got to be able to keep up with that. And you don't need to worry about the 49ers. That'll come. They might have another loss. They already have 2 losses. You also got to keep pace with them because, things happen. Fluky things happen in this season, where you could end up lucking yourself into a victory. Because the Cowboys are playing a lighter schedule opposite the Eagles and a la the Giants. They have the Giants coming up. They have the Commanders themselves coming up as well. So they have a couple games here where they can make up some ground. So don't lose to a team like the Rams and lose that credibility because then you also have wild card things to happen. If you go into a spiral, some of these teams like Minnesota looks like they might get into a kick right now. And they might kick it into overdrive. And the Bucks kind of still are hanging around. So if you want to make the playoffs, you got to make sure that you win games like this. You may not be the best team in the NFC, but you never know what happens. And you're already talking shit about the 49ers that you're going to meet them here. Well, guess what? You beat the Eagles, you win a couple more games, they get knocked off along the way, both these teams. Maybe you're the number 1 seed, and maybe they have to come to Big D, and then you can handle your business then.
Thank you for that, Willie Basher. I didn't realize I didn't know what that guy's name was, but he's gonna have his work cut out for him, man, for the next couple of weeks, man. He's got a couple of good, strong receiving cores. He's gonna be out there trying to defend, man. So good luck to him. See what happens, bro. But he's gonna definitely have his hands full with these receivers he'll be dealing with on this Sunday and the following Sunday. So
Well, the one
we'll see
thing
what
that Matthew Stafford does do a lot is he does turn the ball over. He is prone to throwing you interceptions. So you will have a chance to get some turnovers back. I think the Cowboys have to play a clean game like they did against LA Chargers and score points when you have a chance to score your points. I would do this. Go put Tony Pollard at the receiver in the slot, move him out of the backfield a little bit, get him on some screens. I think that's where you're going to utilize his speed, and that could be an X factor like we talk about DeAndre Swift. I think Pollard to me is a great second punch, right? I don't think he's a number 1 back. I think he's a good 2 second back. Not that taking anything away from him, but I think he has more versatility being a flanker back where you can move him out of the backfield, move him to slot, move him to wide receiver, catch screens out of the backfield, run up the middle, break some tackles, get him in open space. I think when you bottle him down, that's why I think Zeke Elliott worked out well for him. They don't really have that other pounder. That's why Ronald Jones, when they cut Ronald Jones, while I thought it was, he obviously didn't want to do it because he was suspended. I thought he would have been a good back to have because he could take those Elliott carries, those hard yard carries, and get you those first and those second and fives and those second and six. And then Pollard, he's already going up against a weaker defense or a team that's compromised. It works out better for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying the Cowboys, I think, need to kind of go in there with that same mentality they had against the Chargers. Pressure bust pipes, man. I mean that Herbert didn't play like necessarily terribly against the Cowboys, but that pressure was definitely getting to him, and it had and affected the game. So they got to just keep that same pressure on Matthew Stafford, and like you said, he is definitely has the tendency to turn the ball over, man. So I think they got to really ride that wave, man. That defense, the great defense that they've been playing most of the season, and the offense is coming together slowly but surely. It's coming together. It's not still not what people were expecting necessarily, but it's coming. It's starting to come together. They did put out a good performance against the Chargers offensively, their best offensive performance of the season probably. So we'll see with this Dallas Cowboy team, man. But really have much more about them, man. You have anything else on the Cowboys?
Not really. I mean, we're like I said, we're going to find out what if they are sleepwalking through the game, they'll lose. If they don't sleepwalk through the game, they'll be able to go into that game against the Eagles at 5-2, and that looks a lot better than 4-3. And then if you lose the game to the Eagles, you'll be 5-3 and still be able to be in the wild card mix. I think the Cowboys are about to go on a little bit of a run here, and steal a couple games where they probably shouldn't. I think the bye week they're going to have to, the thing that they're going to need to do is you're after Derrick Henry. That would be
I don't want to see
insane.
that.
That'd
I
be
don't
insane.
want to see that.
You trade them Pollard and get back Derrick Henry. I mean, that would set your team over the top right there. If you can somehow keep Pollard and get Derrick Henry, the Cowboys, that's a Super Bowl winning move right there. Make a trade. This is going to be interesting. Speaking of that, let's get into the little trade. We are a couple days away from the trade deadline. And I do think some teams like the Cowboys should inquire about a move like that for the Cowboys, right? Because to me, you're trying to win here. Derrick Henry knows that it's a rebuild now in Tennessee. They're probably going to tear it down, similar to what the Giants are probably going to do next year. Kind of just tear it down and rebuild, right? Let him go on a team that's fighting and contending, and we'll see. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire, and this is one of those moves that Jerry Jones has Jerry Jones' name written all over it. Like, oh, let's get Derrick Henry. We'll find a back who's compromised, and next thing you know, Derrick Henry's on your team running for 5,000 yards and making the team a Super Bowl contender.
If you add Derrick Henry to the Dallas Cowboy offense, I don't even want to imagine, man, what that would look like, bro. I mean,
I don't know if he'd look good in Dallas colors, but it'd be interesting to see.
oh my goodness gracious, I couldn't imagine with that. That'll be scary. That will be scary. That would be just what Dak needed again. That would be just what Dak Prescott needed again. To have a back of that caliber. I mean, like no knock on Tony Pollard, but Derrick Henry's a whole completely different animal.
Yeah,
Obviously.
the Tony Pollard experiment is to me done. I think they're going to go a different direction at running back next year, or sign him to a deal and then get another guy in like Derrick Henry. Like that's probably a perfect move if you do that, because you get Derrick Henry, you'll have some draft capital. Now you're going for it, right? I mean, I'm surprised they didn't acquire about Adoree Jackson too. Like I wouldn't just go for that. I would get another corner in here as well. I'd get another linebacker in here if you could find one. In Vander Esch, there's a guy like that the Giants picked up that's on our practice squad in Hilton. That's a guy I probably would have brought in as well. But the Cowboys, if you're a team, I would be buyers here. I would be trying to buy. If I'm a Giant person, I don't care if we win or not. Sell. You have this is a very deep draft class in terms of talent. You can get players and replenish and get into the pipeline. So I'd say I would sell. If I'm a Commanders, I would sell. If I'm the Eagles, you're already buying. I mean, they keep adding additions. They like putting an addition on top of an addition on top of an addition when you get Bird, right? So you've already shored up that secondary. And that's why I think the Eagles are so interesting. They identify a problem and they go fix the problem. right? They don't just go, oh, let me throw this here, let me half-ass it, let me do that. No,
There's no patchwork. They go fix it. Like you said,
exactly.
they fix it.
They're like, we'll
But
fix it, and it'll be
since you were
good for
talking
years. Oh, go ahead.
talking about all the trade stuff, I mean, like how do you feel about the New York Giants, for instance, basically coming out and keeps continuing to say, "We're not getting rid of Barkley. We're not getting rid of Barkley. We're not making any moves. We're not doing. We're not this. We're not that. We're still trying to compete." How does that make you feel as a fan when you hear like when you hear like them keep coming out speaking like that when this team clearly has issues that need to be addressed?
As a fan, it makes me angry because it means you're stuck in your old ways. And you should not, you should be letting Joe Shane say, hey, John, I have the whatever team, the Bears on the phone, they want to trade for Saquon Barkley and pair him with Justin Fields or the Lamar Jackson is calling up and saying he wants to play with Barkley. I can get a second or third round. It just to me is stagnant. Now I get it because the NFC is so terrible that you're still in it, even though you're 2-5. I understand your thinking, but at the end of the day, you don't have long-term deals with these guys, right? Barkley, to me, like I already discussed, probably is your highest trade asset, and him telling you don't be traded, it's a business, homie. It's a business. I'm sorry, I can get a third-round pick. You're already past your prime. I've already paid you. You're going to command a boatload of money that we're not going to pay. Yeah, I'm going to get some for you. I'm not going to wait till 2025 when the draft may not be as good, and we may be higher up because we've made the playoffs, or we're one of those teams on the cusp because Daniel Jones plays great against last place schedules, but we lose some games here, so you can't guarantee your draft spot next year. So get draft capital now. Don't wait for compensatory picks. And see already like Leo Williams. I love what you've done here. Here's a gold watch. See you on the other side. Like bye. You're not doing anything. Carrick, you can stay. You're here for a long time. Dexter Lawrence, you can stay. Paris Campbell, what are you doing? See you later. Bye. Darius Slayton, I've seen enough of you. See ya.
Like
Bye.
he was on the team.
Like what are you getting out of Darius Slayton? He still stinks. He still is the same guy he's been all his career. He shows up. He shows up when the competition gets less. He shows up, and then when they feature him, he shows up. Like Isaiah Hodgins, you're not getting any. You're not signing that guy again. He's having a horrible season. See you later. I'm just
Well, in Darius Slayton's defense, I will say in his defense, some of this is a New York Giant issue. They're forcing a square peg into a round hole. Darius Slayton is at best at best a number three receiver, and that's he's playing at his absolute best. But I would
right,
say in most situations he's basically a four on your depth chart, on most teams' depth
right,
chart. And on this New York Giant team, he's like 1-2 or whatever, 1A, whatever you want to call it, and that's just not what he is. He's a guy
right,
that can come in and make an occasional play for you here and there for an offense. He's not a guy that you depend on to be like AJ Brown and be your guy.
right.
He's
He shouldn't
not
be a number
that.
one. No,
And the New York,
no.
yeah, the New York Giants are trying to make him that, and or
Like
try to
get rid
get
of
that
Sterling
kind of
Shepard.
production
What that guy
out
looks
of
like? He
him.
can't even run. I mean, Sterling Shepard looks like he's running slow motion out there. Like I don't need to see him anymore. Like, get me some young guys. I'm sad that Bryce Ford Wheaton went down because this is a chance where I would have loved to have seen him elevated from, let's say, the practice squad, and given him a chance to say, listen, because right now you need speed. Darius Slayton's not doing anything for me. Like, I don't need to see him out there. Like Isaiah Hodgins, I want to see you feature him, do something. Darren Waller is taking up some of the Isaiah Hodgins numbers because they do the same thing. They're both 6'4". They both kind of run the same speed. They both are seam routes. Wandale Robinson, I rather see him. I don't even like, and I'm not a huge fan of Wandale Robinson, but last week, he had a little spicy little move he had there where two defenders crashed into each other. So let's see more of that guy. Why is that guy not returning punts? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have Eric Gray who's returning, but we brought in some dude off the street named Gunner, whoever, whatever his name is. I don't know how to pronounce his damn name. Like, this is what the thing that I'm mad about this team is they're just flawed. So if you don't think, like right now, they're bringing in patchwork offensive linemen to say, see, we're trying to patchwork the offensive line. This should have happened weeks ago. And the guys that were bringing in Justin Pugh, don't even get me started with that guy. That guy was off his couch. He should still be on his couch. Okay, he's not really that great right now. Okay, he's not. And I know he's playing out of position, but still, he's a weakness out there. And I know when the line gets shuffled in and you bring these guys back, it's going to take a few games for them to get acclimated, right? with each other and playing next to each other. So by the time we get to the Cowboy game, we could still be having O line issues because guys are still trying to work their way back from injuries. It's not as easy as people think, you know. So I'm just saying, like the Giants, if they, and especially if they lose this game on Sunday, if they lose this game on Sunday, you should sell because at 2-6, your season's over. And I don't want to hear it. Your season basically over at 2-5, but at 2-6, your season's over.
And one more thing before we wrap things up, man. Brian Dable came out also and came out loud and clear and said there is no quarterback controversy in New York at all. He said when Jones is cleared, he's the quarterback. He's back in there. He's playing. What do you think
Yeah,
about those comments?
I think that's a little. Well, one, he has to say that because you paid him, so he's the franchise guy. So you got to live and die by your mistake. But what I say is that for me, if he comes out and struggles, you can't then tell the fan base who's already seen 2 games, so probably will see 3 games of of Tyrod Taylor because I don't believe Daniel Jones coming back. I think the best at best he'll come back against the Raiders, possibly the Cowboys, but I don't think you see Daniel for the next couple weeks, right? But if he were to come back and let's say start and he struggles, and we've got now 4 games of Tyrod Taylor making the offense look good, and the team getting behind him, and you come out and tell me he's the best one, he's the best one going forward, then I then I can't get behind you. If you're like, well, this guy has struggled against this team and blah blah blah. If you're arguably trying to win games, if you're just trying to evaluate him, which I'm tired of saying, hey, we need to evaluate him at the next 10 games. No, that's it. Daniel Jones, you don't need to evaluate him anymore. You know what he is. That's to me a stupid thing to say. Well, we want to see what he is behind an offensive line. You know what he is. He wasn't good then. He's not going to be good now. Now they're going to start him because you paid him. So you made that mistake to pay him in the first place. If he was on the franchise tag, he would be benched. All I'm saying is if you're really talking about winning and the guy Tyrod Taylor gives you a better chance to win, you got to play the guy that gives you a better chance to win, not because you're stuck playing that way.
I mean, at this point, Miz, man, I appreciate your opinion and stuff, but I do agree with Adam here. I don't. I just think Daniel Jones. I've seen enough. I don't think
Right.
there's nothing more that we can see from Daniel Jones in New York. Like I said, Daniel Jones could maybe go somewhere, back
Well,
somebody up for a
then
couple
at
of
that point,
years, and hold on, let me back somebody up for a couple of years, and maybe like I said, had that Geno Smith like path of his career where, and then all of a sudden he gets another opportunity down the line and makes the most of it somewhere else. But here in New York, this kid is completely shell shocked. This kid is completely gone. He's lost out there. Here in New York, it's just not going to happen. It's not meant to
so,
be.
but
We've
what's the
seen
point of
more
what?
than plenty to know that it's not meant to be.
But
That's
so
all
what?
I
So
feel.
what's the?
That's how I feel about it now.
But my point is, what's the point of putting him back out there anyways? You already know what he is. Who cares? At that point, if you're talking about if Taylor the future, no, Taylor's not the future, obviously. Right. And we're not going anywhere with either one of these guys. If that's the case, put in Tommy DeVito. The Giants aren't going to fucking do that. But to sit here and say, well, I want to evaluate Jones with an offensive line, give me a break. You already seen 5 games of this guy with an offensive line. This Tyrod Taylor's came in 2 games with less offensive line play than he has and has already shown better. Now, I'm not saying I'm keeping Tyrod Taylor into next year. That's not what I'm saying. I guess that's what people don't understand. All I'm saying is the way you look at way you look at this is if they want to win, right, games and try to get into this playoff race, you can't then tell me if Daniel comes back against the Cowboys and absolutely looks like dog shit because he's coming back against the Cowboy team. You're going to sit here and tell me, well, Jones gives us the best way of playing. No, the reason they're going to play Jones is because they made a $140 million mistake. And so they need to ride that mistake out. We know what Daniel is. They're going to draft a quarterback next year regardless and bring somebody in here to compete with him at that position. I mean, it's enough is enough already.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not personal with Daniel Jones and me. It's just, I just think this is not going to work. It's not meant to work out here in this and with this team. I just think it's just not. It's not going to work out with this team with him, man. He's got to move on somewhere, change the scenery, clear his head,
This is the
and like
dumbest
I
take I've
said,
ever heard.
and then
Because, sorry, I'm sorry.
he's got to clear his head and just kind of get his mental right, man. Because the guy has the physical tools to be in this league to play football in the NFL. He does. Whether you like how you ever you feel about, it, he has the physical tools to do it. But he's right now mentally, he's just not. He's not there and not here. Like I said, not with this team, man. He's been through a lot with this team. This team's been through a lot with him, and it's just not a marriage. It's not a happy marriage, man. It's just not.
But
You got divorce.
see, this
A
to me
divorce
is
is
an
in order.
excuse. Jones didn't have Barkley. Tyrod, give me a break. He had Jones. He had He had Barkley a lot more than Tyrod's had on this team. It's you got to watch with your eyes, not with your heart, and that's what people are doing. Oh well, let's use Daniel Jones because he doesn't have Barkley. Give me a break. Give me an absolute fucking break. Okay, I'm tired of that take. I'm tired of people making excuses. Oh, he didn't have Barkley. Tyrod Taylor didn't have Andrew Thomas. He had fucking Justin Pugh off the couch. He has Tyree Phillips starting. Oh, and you want to tell me, oh, well, he didn't have Barkley. Give me a break. Just give me an effing break. I understand what Barkley does and can do, but you're paying Daniel Jones $140 million. He needs to elevate. He needs to elevate the team around him. That's what he needs to do. I'm just saying.
That's what's not happening. That is what's not happening. I mean, in any capacity. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not happening. Like I said, the kid, it's just not going. It's like sometimes you're just in a bad situation where it's just not going to meant to work out where you're at. And like I said, you look at the guys like a Geno Smith. Look how long it took for the light bulb to come on for Geno Smith. It took quite a while. I mean, maybe some guys are just like that with some of these guys, man. I mean, sometimes you got to go back up a good veteran and really just have a couple of years to just learn from like a good, solid veteran. You know what I mean? And see somebody's work ethic and see what somebody else brings to the table. He never really got that opportunity. He got thrown out there week 3 of his rookie season, and the rest is history, man. We've been
And he has a
stuck with
bad
Daniel
neck.
Jones ever since then. And that's something else to put into consideration. His injury history, and it's not even just it's neck injuries. It's not a good look right now, man. I just think get him there next year. He'll still be here next year with the contract. The
It's
way the
over.
contract's set up, can't just release him and cut him, obviously. But he's not the future at all, and there's nothing more
Right,
to
right.
see
He's going
to
to be
make
here
him the
next year.
future.
You're going to draft. You draft a guy. All right. It's you move on. I don't care if we see Daniel Jones next year. You just said it. He just said in the chat. If we are not going anywhere, what's the matter? Well, exactly. But you know what matters is evaluating the players on the field. So if Tyrod Taylor gives me a better chance to evaluate Jalen Hyatt and these guys, that I'm putting him in over Daniel Jones, who doesn't give you anything then other than confusion and heartbreak. All I'm saying is first off, you're going to draft a quarterback because he's a liability right now with injury. That's it. He's a liability with injury. He's a neck injury. He's probably going to miss this game. He hasn't been cleared for contact this game. So now you're going to tell me that you're going to not draft a quarterback. You're going to get somebody in here. Next year, he'll be here because you don't want to eat that dead money. But at least you'll have somebody on the bench if he struggles to say, all right, man, sit down. We're going to put this young kid in. You know what I mean? And we're far and away not a great team. We're not going to be great next year either. So what are we really saying here? And if you can't see that a quarterback does elevate a team, like look at CJ Stroud. He ain't got nobody out there. He ain't got nobody. You can't name his offensive line. And that guy is making his team better just by being out there. Anthony Richardson, that team is not great. And he's playing good football out there. Sure, he got injured.
He was playing good.
Sure, he got injured. You know what I mean? But like, we can't just sit here and say, well, how many more excuses we're going to give this guy? Like that I went off on a Twitter space because all we're sitting here is the same question. Well, yeah, it's Barkley. Well, like, when do the excuses stop? Because exactly what's going to happen. We're going to get a new QB, and the same people who are touting Daniel Jones are going to be like, well, look at that QB. He didn't make that throw. Look at this miss. Look at that miss. Daniel would have made that play. They're never going to stop. It never stops. At the end of the day, it's just, to me, at the end of the day, you play the best players out there. You get a chance to win. I'm not the one who wants to go to the playoffs. If you want me to be truly honest, I'd put Tommy DeVito back there and say fuck both those quarterbacks so we can go get our guy. But they're not going to do that because of the New York Giants, and they're not going to want to compromise all those players. But if you don't see that the entire team is juiced when this guy's on the field, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want to win no matter what. I still rather win. I'm always pro win. I'm not about that tank life.
I don't
But
know.
at the
I
end
don't
of
know what
the,
you're talking about here.
and I just feel like Tyrod Taylor right now gives his team a bit better of a chance. You drafted a guy like Jalen Hyatt in the third quarter. I mean, in the third round of the draft, and we barely seen him all season. In the last 2 weeks, this guy's making big plays for the New York Giants offense. Plays that he wasn't even getting an opportunity to make when Daniel Jones is out there because he just refuses to take those shots down the field. And we're getting the penalties down the field, keeping drives alive like you see with other teams all around the league.
Is Tyrod great?
It's
No.
it's just something. It's just something. He gives a different dynamic to this offense, and it's a better dynamic right now. He plays a lot more fearless. The offensive line still hasn't been great. I mean, I'm not going to say it's been.
It's been terrible. They've given up
It's
the
been.
same amount of
Like I said,
pressures with him
it's
in the
been a
game.
little. It's been a little. I'd say no. I'd say it's been a little better play. Just when I watch how they block and how they're blocking, they're manning up and blocking people a little bit. It's been a little better. Honestly, I can't say that, but it's not like it hasn't been good by no means. He's still back there getting pressure, like you said, getting pressured at a high rate. It's just more functional, man. It's just a lot more functional. And right now, if you are trying to actually win football games, I think you got to stick with Tyrod Taylor. He gives you he
There's a lot
just
more
shows
than
he
two
gives you the better
QBs in this
chance.
draft. Sorry to break it to you, Willie Vassar. Michael Penix Jr. is a very good QB. Bo Nix is a very good QB. There's a lot of good QBs out there. Don't just say that there's two. That's false. That's false facts right there. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Not to mention, you just never know who the hell's a good
Right,
quarterback. Who the hell
exactly.
knew Puka Nacua was going to be the best rookie wide receiver in this year in the league?
Right.
Nobody knew that
So-
before this season. Nobody did.
Lamar Jackson,
So-
nobody thought he was going to be good either. He was picked at 32nd in the draft. So there's
Look at
plenty
the
of
guys that
QBs
went
in this
before
draft.
Lamar Jackson.
Plenty of QBs in
Goodness
this draft.
gracious.
Plenty of them. I can give you a list. Go look them up. There's plenty of first, second round guys that could eventually be franchise guys or guys that are going to be needle movers at this point. And you want a guy to
And
get
there's
in.
always Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy. Don't forget that
You gotta
guy.
get- Right, and
Last
we
pick
write
in the
off guys
draft.
quickly. We write off guys quickly here because we play Madden and we want them to be ultra uber good right out the gate, and that doesn't always happen. Bryce Young may be good next year. Right now, he's going through his growing pains. Sam Howell's going through his growing pains. Remember, we forget that it's the second season in the league. This is the first time starting. Desmond Ridder, we can tell is caca, but he still has to go through his growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Now, what these two quarterbacks, Ridder and those guys, allow you to do is because they weren't first round picks, you don't have to invest in them the same way. You can cut them with no harm, no foul. No one's going to care. No one's going to remember Desmond Ridder or Sam Howell 10 years from now if they're cut from the team. You will remember a first round pick like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young being a bust. And oh, by the way, I did mention that Anthony Richardson would be good in the NFL. He was good in the NFL. Okay, so my point is, you just, if you have a chance to take a guy, you take a guy. Let Brian Dable get his hands on a guy who's fresh, who's not shell shocked, all right, who's not somebody else's draft pick. Remember, Daniel Jones has been drafted 2 regimes ago. Okay, he was drafted under Pat Shurmur. He was built for that offense. Why don't you get a guy in here who Tyrod Taylor looks like he's for this offense? Why don't you get a guy in here that Brian Dable actually knows that can run his offense without him having to worry about the first read or seeing the rush or anything like that? Get a guy in here he can groom, that he can build off of, that he already, you may not like Sam Hartman, but maybe he brings in, I don't know if Sam Hartman's going to be good. I'm just using that name, popped in my head, right? What if you think Sam Hartman could be his franchise guy? He get him in the second round. You go get that guy and say, listen, this is our guy. We're going to run with it. Because either way, at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, they're going to be fired anyways. So you might as well fall on your sword, not with a guy that you doubled down with from not a regime. If I'm Brian Dable, I don't want to get fired, Well, Adam, I don't
take
think
this one.
QB this year. Why not? Why are we not going to draft a QB?
Willie Vassar, it would be irresponsible not to draft a
Right. It would be
quarterback this year.
malpractice not to do it. I mean, come on, bro. Like, you can't
be
guarantee that in
irresponsible.
2025 you're going to be up there to get the Archie Mannings and the whoever else comes out next year in the Shooter Sanders. You don't know if you're going to do that. Plus, guys are getting paid now in college. They don't have to come out if they don't want to, if they have eligibility. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're wrong per se, but I know that there's at least 24 draft eligible quarterbacks. I know there's at least 6 to 7 guys that will be drafted probably in the first 2 rounds at least. And then you got other guys that you can develop going forward. There's going to be a ton of guys in here, not to mention the players who are actually good in this draft who are going to push a lot of these guys down because they don't make it up draft boards. There are a ton of QBs in this draft. This is the year of the QB.
It is, it will be, and forever will be. Yes, there'll always be QBs in drafts. Come on, that's always going to happen. But they're not. You can't just wait to get one because next year, the thing is, in 2025, you don't have to keep Daniel Jones. So what are you going to do? Cut Daniel Jones? This regime is not going to ride with Daniel Jones longer than one more year. They're not. They've already they throw tablets at the kid. They're yelling at him on the fucking sideline. They don't like him. Okay, they only kept him because Grandpa Mara, had a phone call and said, "Give my grandson the pony." And they're like, "Listen, man, we don't really want to give you the pony, but since Grandpa Mara plays our bills and built the house that we live in, I can't say no to him. So I'll give you 2 years to get off your feet." And right now we are further away from being a winner than we are. Get a guy in here, get some assets. And I hear this line too. Well, the offensive line, bro, you're going to fix the offensive line for the new quarterback. This guy's already damaged. He's a shot fighter. And when you have a guy who's a shot fighter who's punch drunk, right? I like to call him punch drunk, seeing ghosts already. That's when you have to get rid of that guy. And Daniel Jones, like Max said, the marriage is over. It's done. Get the divorce, get your alimony, take half, and leave. I don't care what you want. Just don't let the door hit you on the way out. Okay, and next year, we know that they're going to probably play the AFC North. It's still going to be a tough schedule regardless of what we play because the AFC North, every team in there has got a good defense. And so when we're sitting here struggling, being a meandering football team, and we end up, again, number 15th in 2025, and we have to mortgage the farm, wouldn't you rather have a guy on there who's like a Jalen Hurst, who you scouted and liked and drove and hand-selected and said, hey, you know what, this guy could be something? Why not? They're going to be fired. This regime is going to be fired anyways after year 3 if they don't get a quarterback in here to say, at least let's try it with our guy. Because they bought themselves a year with the coach of the year. The drafts for Joe Schoen have been suspect at best. We are still looking at guys. So if you don't let them get a guy in here and you fall on that Daniel Jones sword, then that's malpractice, and we should question both Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen if they don't pick a quarterback this year.
Nah, I think that's just a must. Quarterback's a must. It would be completely irresponsible and it would be unacceptable not to at this point in time where the New York Giants, where things stand with the New York Giants, because it's clear and obvious Daniel Jones is not the guy for the future. Is not the future quarterback for this football team. That's been proven now. It's been proven mightily now. I mean, you got whatever Tyrod Taylor is getting out there, and you're not getting less production. So that just says what you need. That tells you everything you need to know right now. So, guys, it's been real, man. It's been a great show, man. Adam, man, bringing the energy as always, man. This weekend's going to be a fun weekend. Big Blue Crew going to be up at the game, Light Stadium, New York Giants, New York Jets, tailgating in the parking lot, Big Blue Crew style, man. Big Blue Crew tailgate. Going to be honoring our guy, NYG Jeffrey T, man. If you guys remember Jeffrey Turner, the late great, man, we're going to be definitely honoring his life a little bit, tributing him, all that good stuff, man, out in that parking lot, man, getting our grub on, making content. So make sure y'all just tune in. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming y'all way this weekend. We're going to be out there, y'all, man. We're going to definitely be out there representing, man.
I got to see Mac in 3D.
Me and Adam going to be in the same room, finally together. We get to actually, we can actually shake that man's hand, man, for the first time, finally, man. So
that will be.
It's going to be a fun weekend.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I cleared my schedule to shake your hand, so,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channels, man. Make sure y'all go sub up, on all platforms, man. Sub up to my channel, sub up to Adam's channel, sub up to the Hardcore Sports Network, man. We're doing it out there, man. Most definitely, man. And everybody in the chat, really appreciate y'all, man. Most definitely coming through, hanging in there with us, man, for this past damn near 2 hours. And we will be back next Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to bust down the Week 8 action in the NFC East, man. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, with my guy, Adam Costas. Hey! I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MACDA Giants fan.